just love on me, 'cause that's just what I need. Your love on me is all I ever need.
So yeah, we're talking about audio products today, and we're talking about headphones. And no, I won't be worshipping companies and brands like they're our saviors and shepherds to our sheep minds, but that's not the point of this video. The whole point of this video is to take a little trip back, a little journey into how I kind of ended up where I am in terms of the audiophile world, because I think it's pretty interesting. I think a lot of you subscribe for audio geared content, so let's talk about my journey as an audiophile. Been pretty fun, and I've loved a lot of what I've tried along the way. It's just that my financial health is absolutely in shambles. You see, I was always fascinated with getting the best I can with my money in kind of the world of technology and the world of everything actually. When it comes to anything I bought, I always wanted to get the best kind of value for money, the best quality that I could get my hands on. And I guess in a way, that's what makes me a good reviewer. Like it's kind of my thing. Ever since the first pair of headphones I bought, you know, I always wanted more and I always wanted the best, and I was always on the hunt for good stuff. Anyway, I bought my first pair of headphones back like, what, 9 years ago? Oh my god, that's so long ago. Back when I was 13 to 14 years old. I am 20 now, so that's like 7 years. They were very crappy in hindsight, but they cost me like 40 bucks, and I saved up for weeks and weeks to buy them from like a local random crappy tech franchise shop. I was so happy and so overjoyed when I got them. When I finally purchased those headphones with money I had saved over the course of weeks and weeks, I was like so hyped and so overjoyed to use them. It was just so damn fun. And obviously now that I've tasted better headphones, you know, tasted is kind of the wrong word. Tried better headphones, they're really crappy. But back then, with hypersensitive hearing from the fact that I was only 13 years old and the fact that those headphones were better than anything I've tried, because I've never tried anything at that point in time, they sounded phenomenal and I had plenty of fun with them. I like used the hell out of them for the first 2 years. It really puts it in perspective, I guess. The more you see, the more you want. And I guess if you just vibe on the low end with cheap earpods, when you try something really good, it impresses you and sticks with you for a very long time. Like the first girlfriend that you settled with because you were lonely, they were never gonna be enough, and so quickly I found myself looking for an upgrade. The next one. My next headphone was not gonna actually be much more expensive than that, like $10-20. The first couple of years of my journey as an audiophile was mostly defined by me being an absolute value whore. I just wanted the best value for money, those hidden gems, or those really underrated high quality gems that no one really talks about, or you know, there wasn't plenty of attention on. Small brands that will provide crazy specs, crazy sound, crazy performance for the price. That was what I was always looking for in the first couple of years. I was a predator, and my prey was unadulterated price to performance. Hell yeah. For example, I was totally invested in the world of KZ earphones. Unboxed a few months back, and then it just blew up. The video was really popular, not crazy viral, but it got quite a number of views and quite a number of hits. So I thought I would do a full-on review now that I've used it for a couple of months. So without further ado, let's jump straight in. First things first, the design. It's stunning, it's beautiful. I've said it before and I'm gonna say it again. KZ rips off custom earphones, $1,000 earphone designs, and then puts them into cheap earphones, making these super beautiful, super premium looking earphones for a very, very low price. And these are no different. The KZ ZX3s are based on some custom earphone, and they look awesome. It's got this piano black, shiny plastic exterior, and it's good plastic too. It's not cheapo, flaky, kind of flimsy plastic. It's actually well built, and the kit's got a nice detachable cable, which is, although proprietary, still really cheap to replace. And it's in general just a very well built earphone that looks nice. It's got all these kind of angles and curves and everything. It's pretty exciting to look at. The cable as well is, it's nothing crazy, this cable. It's simple, it's just a standard cable, rubber cable, no braiding, nothing. Terminates in a right angle 3.5mm gold plated connector, and that's about it. And it's also replaceable, so if you want to, you could. Comfort wise, it's an excellent earphone. It's over ear design, so it sticks in your ear and the cable routes behind your ear. And then when I was about 15 years old, so 2 years after I bought my first pair of headphones, I did have one or two headphones in the way that my cousin kind of lent me, donated to me, and I did have my first pair of in-ear monitors, the Audio Technica IM70, which I bought off my cousin. The only problem is that I lost those on the bus one day, which made me really sad, but they were very, very good earphones. One of my first videos on this YouTube channel, and it was so poorly shot. I'm embarrassed by it. Extremely good value. Another one was obviously the KZ earphones that I've reviewed, and they're actually a pretty popular review on my YouTube channel. There was so much performance, and for the price at that point in time, that the KZ earphones was so impressive to me. Also, the KZ earphones back then, you know, the whole market of crazy high specs, crazy low price Chinese made earphones, they weren't so saturated. There was only pretty much KZ and maybe Fidu and a few other small brands at that point in time. Now there are a lot of earphones, not a lot of brands, and it's super confusing as to which one's the best. So I don't really mess around with that segment anymore. But back then it was like KZ was crazy for shaking up the game by selling $20-$30 earphones that had 4 drivers in them, you know, 6 drivers in them for like $40, and it was pretty high quality, and it sounded really, really nice. I have the KZ2 and also the KZ5, and they both sounded very, very good. Now, they were brilliant in terms of the sound, but in terms of build quality, they were just abysmal. You know, a little bump to them would kill them generally and just end their lives. It was not very desirable, so I found myself breaking them a lot, and I guess they were cheap, so I couldn't really be too mad. It was also a hassle to have to buy new ones constantly, and also not that value and not that good for your wallet. And around this time, about 2018, so when I was about 15 or 16, I think I was 14, I was actually more like 14 to 15. I bought myself the Technica HI 2050s. I'm going to show you the review of it here.
Headphones are great, but good headphones don't come cheap, at least most of the time. But the Technica HI 2050 promises good audio quality while not breaking the bank when it comes to price. So how does it perform? Is it legit, or is it just marketing BS? As always, we start off with the design. The headphones feature a very simple looking design overall, very metallic and elegant and classy, with metal headbands and a mix of metallic coloured plastic and metal ear cups.
Look at that soft face Zach. The Technica HI 2050s were my first kind of long-term pair of desktop headphones. At that point in time, I didn't really have a desktop. I only had a laptop that I used kind of at the desktop setup until I kind of stole the family computer and put it in my room. But it was a very good pair of headphones, you know, just to use at home. They were open back, which was great for gaming, great for comfort as well. I find that closed back headphones, they're really good when you want to block out sound, but if you're in a place that's quiet, they do feel like they're a bit closed off from the world, which might be a bit annoying. They're open back, they're super comfy with these beautiful foam ear cups, and they were like only $50, and it's crazy value in the package, and still to this day it's very good value. I love those, and I use them day in and day out for the next few years. And it was like a bargain hunt for me to find the HI 2050. There's only like 3 people selling it at that point in time, and there's probably no one that sells it. I probably can't find it nowadays because it's just so old and such a small market product. There's so much newer, better stuff now that it doesn't really stick around. A few years into using it, a few months, okay, maybe a year or 2 into using it, textiles started to break. So a screw came loose, you know, things like that. It was super annoying, you know, I couldn't crank and ratchet it properly to tighten it around my head. It was super uncomfortable, and it's time to look for the next upgrade. Searching and prowling the internet, watching things like Z reviews and all that stuff at that point in time, I found another value king. At least that's what people said it was. People consider it the value king, and I do agree with that sentiment. It's just that I'm no judge of headphones in the whole grand scheme of things because I haven't tried enough. People call it the value king. I agree that it's good. So these are the Philips SHP 9500. Now they're super hard to find in Singapore. You have to ship them from Amazon. But when they reach and I tried them, I was like, oh, that's like crazy good. For $100, it was insane that quality that it could provide in terms of a pair of headphones.
Now we have gotten my emotions out of the way. You need to understand these headphones before you truly understand my anger. And I'm not actually pissed with Philips, I'm pissed with everyone else. So let's jump straight into the review, shall we? Let's start off with the design of the headphones. It's a $60 headphones, which there's so much hype about, and I couldn't really believe the hype until I actually got it myself. And the design is where the good things start. It's well built for $60. It's got good plastics all around, and when it needs metal, it has metal, like the adjustable headband, and the grills are also nice metal. which feel nice and rigid and strong, which is a good thing. And when there's plastic, it's just well built as well. It's assembled nicely, nothing creaks or makes stupid noises, and it just feels rigid and strong and solid and doesn't seem like it wants to break constantly, unlike some headphones, which is a good thing. The ear cups,
it was $100, but it was only 60 USD, so I had to pay for shipping and all that because it was such a hassle. At that point in time, Amazon really hadn't expanded into Singapore that much as it has today, with like Amazon Prime now and just cheaper shipping to Singapore, which is great. But last time that wasn't a thing. It was $100 and it was beautiful quality, so beautiful detail. It was nice and warm. It didn't have the best soundstage. I found it quite narrow, but still it was good, and it served me very well for the next 2 years. I mean, it still can serve me well today. I still use it from time to time. It still sounds really, really good. It's just that personally, I've got something better, which I'm going to tell you later on, because no spoilers. And about this time, about a year into using it, I started looking for more portable options. I needed a close back headphones because exams were getting tough. I think it was about 2018. Yeah, it was about 2018. It was about 2017 where I started looking for more portable options because, you know, it was the end of secondary 4, so there was some motion exams to go to JC. If you're Singaporean, you know what I'm talking about. Around that time, you know, going to JC meant it was time to study for A-levels, which didn't really work out in the end because I didn't really study for A-levels that well. I was looking for a pair of portable headphones, close back, good enough to kind of isolate myself from the world and create a little bubble where I could absorb knowledge from a while. So I was looking for a pair of headphones that would allow me to play music close back, and it was portable and easy to carry around. So the first thing that I tried was the MSR7, which was a very good pair of headphones. It sounded very nice, very clear, very beautiful in fact. But I promptly sold it because A, the isolation from the surrounding world wasn't enough, and B, because it was so heavy on the treble. Like, it was very sharp sounding, like very sparkly, a lot of treble in that. Because of that, you couldn't use it for too long. If not, your ears will get very annoyed and triggered by it. If you are of an older age, say you're 40, 50 years old, your ears gonna enjoy it a little bit more, because older ears, they have less hearing. That treble really makes it feel like your hearing is coming back. So that treble is often something that people look for when they're older. But when you're young and your ears are super sensitive, treble just sounds jarring after a certain period of time. Having so much of it made the MSR7s not very enjoyable. So I promptly sold it and I bought myself the Sony Mdr 100AA. It was the first pair of headphones from Sony that kind of carried this new design language that even to this day they still use 4 years later. You know, the Mdr 1000X, 1000 XM4s, XM3s, the 800 AAPs, or whatever it is, whatever number they chose nowadays. And it carries this new kind of design language, which I personally really liked. Smooth metal, it was built well, it's very comfortable, and it's very portable because it folded up. I used it until the pads literally wore down to sand pretty much, and I got rid of the pads, but I still to this day haven't gotten replacement pads, even though I should be. But I have other alternatives, so the effort might not exactly be worth it. And it sounded really, really good, but it also wasn't at the same time very impressive or anything, because especially compared to like the MSR7s, which were, in terms of detail, in terms of soundstage and quality, it's just that the MSR7s, they just didn't have the right sound signature for my tastes. And they had more bass, they were more lower mids, and they were better for rock and better for hip hop, which I was just getting into at that point in time, and I'm totally into nowadays. And it was just very enjoyable in terms of how fun it was. A lot of bass, a lot of punchy, a lot of vibe. Just good for working out, and also good for kind of keeping your head down, getting pumped to study. But the thing is, at this point in time, something will crop up that will start to hurt my wallet even more than my obsession with good audio products have. And that was, around this point in time, I started producing music. And that means I was starting to look at studio monitors, and speakers finally came on the menu like an unwanted dessert that you didn't order. It tasted good, but it hurt your wallet, hurt your gut a lot. But my hunt for music production gear started with makeshift solutions because I was just making music for fun, and even though I've always wanted a pair of desktop speakers or studio monitors since young, I didn't really care too much for it because, you know, I always figured headphones are good enough. But when I started making beats, you know, I don't want to always be wearing headphones, so I started to look for some makeshift solutions. And in my tiny room, where I made like 3-4 videos, I don't know if you've seen those before, like my wireless earphone review and all that stuff. In that tiny room where I kind of fought the war that was A-levels and being bummed out and depressed. I used a soundbar that was meant for the living room under the TV, and I just used it as my desktop speaker. It was kind of like 6 cm for my face instead of 80 cm where it's supposed to be. Well, it worked surprisingly well. It sounded pretty clear, it got pretty loud. It was good enough to begin music production and just kind of vibing with. Now, I even distinctively remember making this beat that I thought was just insane and out of this world, like crazy fire, and just like going ham to it alone in my house when I was supposed to be studying. But that was just kind of mostly the theme of what I did when I was about 17 and 18. I didn't really study for exams. I was just really bummed out and making beats, trying to make myself feel better at that point in time. Instead, in hindsight, I should probably have been making YouTube videos and my YouTube channel would be way bigger. I mean, at this point in time, but you live and you learn, and also my parents would have killed me if I continue making videos, which unfortunately was a big mistake from them, because if I continue making videos, I think I would have an income by now from this channel. Just saying, mom and dad. Yeah, but in hindsight, that beat was pretty bad. I mean, it wasn't bad, but it was kind of meh. And while it is fun to listen to it still today, it isn't as good as I thought it was when I was making it. But those were fun, those were glimmering moments of joy, and those little sad 12 months, 24 months living in that place and dealing with the whole kind of JC school life when I was 17 and 18. I was looking for accuracy and I was looking for quality. So I decided, let's go, let's take it to the next level, let's step it up a little bit, because that's what I'm all about. It was time to level up. So next on the path, I bought these, and they were the Audio Technica. It was vibing in the background with this nice little wooden headphone stand, which is very nice. And they were amazing, I remember distinctively, I remember quite clearly actually. It was like one of those good moments you have in a period of being sad and bummed out that, it stands out. I remember buying it from this teacher who was very nice, and he talked to me for like 15 minutes about audio products, headphones at a point in time. He talked to me and he was like talking about how he used it in his aircon office and he loved it, but he upgraded to the wireless Sony 1000X M3s at that point in time. This was like 2 years ago, and he told me, he was a very nice guy. I remember he was bald, so I guess that's why he needed better padding, was one of the reasons he said when it came to why he didn't want to use the M70Xs anymore. And it came in this beautiful condition. It came very well packaged, very well maintained, and all the pads and all that were like super clean, super nice at that point in time. Look how the mighty have fallen, because look at how worn down it is now. Audio Technica, it's Audio Technica's fault. Like, their pads literally never last. They're thick leather pads. They're really bad at making pads, and especially if you sweaten them, they wear down very fast. So good thing they never made any tampon. But seriously, bad jokes aside, the M70X, they sound phenomenal. They're hyper balanced and they're so detailed. I had no idea what neutral sounding headphones sounded like until I tried the M70Xs in a shop one day. I just sat down, tried it, and I was like, oh, so that's what it means to have sound that has nothing that stands out in particular, just everything kind of in pretty seamless harmony. I didn't really know what that meant when people say neutral and all that fancy mumbo jumbo at that point in time until I tried the M70Xs, and I was so impressed that I bought a pair for myself. Frankly, I think it's underrated. Like, a lot of people look at the Sony 1000Xs nowadays and they're like, oh, it's wireless. And I guess there are different fields and people are just gonna buy wireless headphones instead. But a lot of people who are looking at close back headphones or like just headphones to use, they don't really think about the M70Xs. They just think the M50X is the be-all and end-all, which is far from the truth. M50Xs suck. Oh yeah, and a memory just came back to me. I remember crying in the library with the M70Xs on with my friend. He wasn't crying, I was crying. Because someone made me feel like completely worthless piece of crap. I was like kind of blasting Kanye and Frank Ocean and Travis Scott, and I was just crying in the library. It was it was not a good time. Objectively and subjectively, 2019 for me was a much worse year than 2020, and I'm glad that both of those years are over, because I hope 2021, it's better and it improves and all the stuff. I think it's gotten off to a pretty good start. 2020 did also get off to a pretty good start, so who knows at this point. And after all that, I decided, it was time for a pair of studio monitors, like a pair of speakers. And these are speakers that I use to this day. The Presonus Aries E 3.5. They're simple, they're cheap, and they're loud as hell, and they sound plenty good. I don't really know how to review speakers, and I also can't judge them fairly because I don't have the proper room treatment, acoustic treatment, like noise cancelling, bass traps, sound panels, acoustic panels, and all that stuff to properly, fairly, assess them. So I'm not going to do that, but I'm going to just say that I really enjoy the Presonus Aries E 3.5s. They sound good and they're enjoyable, and I use them for a year so far and I love them. And if you're looking for a cheap pair of studio monitors, like a beginner pair. And finally, my latest pair of headphones was the Audio Technica RSNE X. I didn't actually pay for these, I didn't actually buy these. These are actually a loan unit, like a borrow unit from my cousin who is an audiophile at heart. Like he is the reason I even went down this whole journey in the first place. So if you're watching this, which he probably isn't because he's a busy man, thanks, I guess, for loaning me those first pair of headphones so many years ago and selling me those, my first pair of in-ear monitors. But the RSNE X's are a very nice pair of headphones. They're open-backed, they sound very good, and they're pretty much the best pair of headphones I've ever owned. The detail is phenomenal, this balance is wonderful, the soundstage is pretty decent. It's really impressive all around, and the sound signature, while mostly neutral, has like certain characteristics to it that make me really adore it. And I really like how vocals and voices are presented on these headphones, and they're like my favorite headphones of all time. Super comfy as well, excellent for gaming and excellent for music. And fun fact, you might have noticed I didn't mention a single gaming headset in this point in time because I never ever owned a single pair of gaming headsets. I did have those pair of like fake Astros back then, or those Mad Cats, which I bought and I resold for a profit. But apart from that, I pretty much didn't have a pair of gaming headsets at all. So that was my headphone journey. Why did I get what I did? I don't really know, because it's kind of just me stumbling on certain reviews or certain videos and certain experiences that made me impressed with the pair of headphones or like earphones or speakers and made me want to buy it. And there was always kind of an event that set it off, which I guess is quite interesting. I don't really know exactly why I did all of what I did, but for me, that new experience, you know, that better sound, that elusive perfection when it comes to my audio gear, that was always fun to chase. Even if it was always going to be fruitless, that excitement of trying the next best thing, it always remained, you know, just seeing the new, latest and greatest. It's just like with the rest of the tech world. But the thing about audio products is that it's a lot more human, a lot more analog. So you're a lot more in touch with it because it's got to do with stimulating your senses. How to 2-5 gun. But yeah, it's got to do with stimulating your senses. So it just feels a lot. It's just something that you get very involved with, just like mechanical keyboards, which is a very tactile experience and feels good. And the whole experience was honestly just fun. Like, the world of high-end audio is full of snake traps, snake oil traps, and random placebo effects. That rhymes, I know, because it's a musical video. But discovering the diamonds in the rough, the gems, that's really enjoyable and really fun. And finding out what exactly you like tinkering with setups and mods and stuff. That's just an awesome time. Like, it's just really fun. And sure, to anybody who's just getting into trying out fancy headphones, the audiophile world, word of warning, obviously, don't burn all your money on audio products. Be financially secure and wise, and be careful of snake oil and scams like the Conmojo or whatever. Just have fun and don't worry too much about what other people are using. Don't worry too much about the prices of things that you're using. So long as you have a good time, that's all that matters. Also, that light down there has turned off. Bummer. Now, in the end, we all have our vices. We all chase our fun, our luck, our joy. Now, seeing, hearing, feeling, and tasting are our favorite senses to stimulate, and we as humans unanimously love pampering these senses. Like, we love drowning them in new experiences and new vibes. And just like I love the beauty of landscapes and stunning photography and movies, I love music. And I love how the same beautiful songs that I love can be translated so uniquely to different equipment, and each type of equipment adds kind of a new little bit, a little tidbit to that experience, and just kind of translates the same beautiful songs that I like enjoying and like listening to all the time. It translates it and makes it slightly different, and adds like a new thing to it, which is super cool. You know, which spices up the whole experience. You know, some headphones can show you how wonderful the 808s in the song are, while some can show you the little details hidden in the far corners of the track stereo, like the little, you know, sounds and snares and whatnot that they hit in the corners, that are little details and tidbits that producers put in to layer out the sound and make it sound very unique. Some songs can just show you how beautiful that guitar solo really is in complex, intricate detail, so long as it is unique and makes it beautiful in its own way, translating the recordings of analog waves into physical, tangible sound that we can hear and process. And I guess that's the appeal of audio equipment. Like, we love experiencing interesting senses, and because of audio equipment, we can do so right in the comfort of our own home, which is unbelievably cool. And we can have, like, basically go on a trip without spending money on a holiday or on illegal drugs. For legal reasons, that's a joke. But because we can go on these interesting trips, I think that's why people love chasing the next best thing. And it's an addiction to say, but it's fun. And I know some of you watching can understand me. So this was my audiophile journey, and I hope you guys had fun coming along for the ride. How was yours? Was it as interesting? Was it as cool? Was it much shorter or was it longer? I want to know in the comments or on Discord, linked in the description. By the way, you can follow me on Instagram if you want to see behind the scenes and updates on this channel, or if you want to ask any personal questions, you can ask me over on Instagram as well as Discord. You know, every platform is great. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you watched to this point in the video, which is like 30-40 minutes long, put in the comments M70X, R70X is better than Sennheiser HD600s. And I'll give you a little heart because I know you watched to this point in this video. Hopefully, unlike the last video, someone actually watched to the end, so I can actually, you know, heart someone's comment, because the last video literally no one put the comment that I put at the end, so, which was kind of sad for me. But, you know, it is what it is. Anyway, that's it for this video. Like and subscribe, you know all the YouTube drill. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.